Hey everybody, Mike here again, AZ Gardener. In today's video, I want to show you how to build the soil screen that you're looking at here. So a lot of my videos that I do, I talk about screening my soil. I'll explain when I plant something, I say I pull the material out, I dig a hole, I screen the soil. So this is what I'm talking about when I say I screen the soil. I run it through a 1/2-inch hardware cloth. So it's just a basic 2x4 frame that I have hardware cloth attached, and I have these little side 2x4s that are attached, and as you can see, it's sitting over my wheelbarrow. So all that does is help it prevent it from moving side to side on my wheelbarrow. Just makes it a lot more stable when I'm adding material to this and screening it. So benefit to screening the soil is you just move large chunks of clay. You can help break up the clay. It also helps remove any rocks, debris, you name it, rocks, chunks of concrete, etc. Anything you don't want in the soil when you're planting. So you can also use this for screening your compost. So I use it in both for my compost, and I use it when I'm planting a tree. Benefit of compost is or screening your compost is when you add your compost to this, any material that is not broken down yet, once you run it through, you can take all the fine stuff out of the bottom, and then you can take either, what I'll do is I'll leave the stuff that stays up top here, big chunks. I'll either put it as mulch under my trees, or I just throw it back into the compost bin. It just takes a little longer for it to break down. But stay tuned if you want to learn how to build this. I will give you detailed instructions on how to assemble this, and I will provide a material cut list in the description. So you're going to have a full material list and material cut length list in the description. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how to build this. It's actually a fairly simple process. All right. Okay, to complete this project, you're going to need the following materials. So let's get started. Let me show you what you need. You need some crown staples, and what I'm going to do is in the video description, I'll go ahead and give you specific material descriptions that I'm using here, and you can make your own substitutions. You don't have to use exactly what I'm using, but I will also provide a cut list for the boards. I would recommend following the cut list exactly, just so that it fits over your wheelbarrow perfectly. So follow the cut list, and then you won't have any problems. But with screws, you can substitute whatever you can find. As long as they're the correct length, you should be fine. So here you go. So I got some exterior wood screws. These particular ones are number 6 by 1 5/8 long. Some more exterior wood screws. These are number 8s by 2 1/2. I'm going to be using some of this liquid nails. This is pretty much optional. I don't think you necessarily need this, but I figured why not. It was like $4 for the tube, and hopefully it just makes it last a little longer and holds the bond between some of the wood. So I'll show you later where I'm going to use that. So you need a couple. These are just 2x4s cut to a certain length. Like I said, I'll put them in the cut list. You're going to need 4 longer 2x4s. Again, check the cut list. This is what they call furring strip. It's sold as a 1x3, and I will provide cut lists for that as well. You need 4 of those. 2 of them cut to one length, and 2 of them cut to a different length. And lastly, you're going to need some hardware cloth. So as long as it's right here 24-inch minimum width, you're good to go. So, and then whatever length you're going to need to complete your screen, you're going to need at least 2 foot of this. So I just bought a 10-foot roll. I think the smallest they sell these in is maybe a 5-foot. I'm using 1/2-inch. I found that 1/2-inch is the perfect mesh size. They also sell this though in a 1/4-inch. I find that that's a little bit, it kind of screens it just a little too much for my garden soil and for my trees. But it is really good if you want to go ahead and make another one with a 1/4-inch, and you can use it if you want to reduce your compost down to like a seed planting mix. It actually makes it a little finer, so it's perfect size for seed planting. But for this project, soil and compost screen, I will go with the 1/2 inch, so 1/2 inch mesh. So, and that's going to do it for the material list. All right, step one here in this process is to assemble your frame. So as you can see, I have the 4 longer 2x4s here. And what I've done is I've pre-drilled 2 holes per corner. So as you can see, 1 and 2, just using a drill bit. I only pre-drilled through the outer portion. I didn't get into the adjacent 2x4. I just wanted to do that just to prevent the wood from splitting. I'm about to assemble it with the 2.5 inch screws, and I'll get right back to you, show you what this looks like after we get that assembled. So when you're done with step 1, this is what you're going to have. Just a basic frame for the 2x4s, and we're ready to move on to step 2. Alright, step 2 of this build process is to attach the hardware cloth to the frame that you built. So all you do is just go around, staple the edges, and then cut to fit. So you're going to cut your hardware cloth to fit. I'm using this pneumatic crown stapler. If you don't have one, you can try with a hand stapler, but it might be a little difficult. But if you have a pretty powerful one, that might work for you. So step 2 complete. Okay, step 3 in the build process is to apply the liquid nails adhesive. Now this step I did tell you was optional, so if you want to do it, go ahead. If you don't want to do it, I think you'd be okay without doing it. So if you want to skip it, go ahead. But what I do is I take and run a bead of liquid nails construction adhesive all the way around the perimeter on the screen side of the frame. So step 4 of this build process is to attach the furring strip on top of the screen where you just applied the liquid nails adhesive. If you actually did do that. If you skip the liquid nails, that's okay. You're still going to want to do this step, and I'll explain why we do this on another step later down this process. So I installed 3 screws per furring strip. This is what the screws look like. You can substitute whatever works as long as it's the right length, in my opinion. But I'm using these deck and fed screws, the number 6 by 1 5/8. So go ahead and attach your furring strip all the way around the frame. Okay, step 5 of this build process is you're going to staple the hardware cloth to the furring strip on the inside. All the way around, just run some staples. I used crown staples here again, same pneumatic tool I'm using here from Harbor Freight. But the reason we do this is now when you load this up with a lot of material, without this furring strip, what's going to want to happen is the dirt will pull the screen inward this way, and this way, and eventually what will happen is this screen will actually come loose because the staples eventually they'll loosen up and it'll want to pull in. So the furring strip being screwed and glued to the back of the 2x4, and then the hardware cloth being stapled once again, it just gives it a little bit of added strength and prevents that screen from detaching from the frame. Alright, the last step in this build process, pretty simple. The shortest pieces, shortest 2x4s from the cut list, get attached to the shortest sides. Okay, so that's it. You can see you want them to protrude on the furring strip side. So this side is actually going to contact the wheelbarrow, and this edge here is going to allow it to lock onto the side of the wheelbarrow, prevent the screen from shifting side to side. So what I used was 2 of the 2.5 inch long screws from the material list. So it's the number 8 by 2.5, and I did pre-drill. I pre-drilled this 2x4 only just to prevent it from splitting, and then I ran the screws in. You don't necessarily have to pre-drill, but I do find sometimes it will split no matter what. Even you know, they are deck screws. You're not supposed to have to pre-drill. Sometimes they will split, so better safe than sorry, but it's really up to you. If you want to risk it, go for it. But I have had them split, so I just pre-drill them now. So, but that's the last step. So I have one on this side, one on this side, and you are done with this project. Now the last thing to do, I have actually sanded some of these edges, so that's the very last step. So if you don't want to get splinters, I recommend doing that. Just taking down some of the kind of bird edges. Nothing fancy. It's 2x4 and furring strips, so we're not building cabinets here, but just to knock the edges off. So, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this project, and good luck doing it. It's fairly simple. And like, subscribe to the channel, and if you want notifications when I post future videos, go ahead and hit that hit the bell. So all right, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.